Go, 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 go. Another week, which means another amazing opportunity for Paper Route, presented by I Am Athlete. The Go, Go, Go was inspired by Moneybag Yo, who was just playing in our studio. Ashley, I'm a big fan of Moneybag Yo, and I'm also a big fan of your outfit today. What inspired this outfit today, Ashley Nicole Moss?
Hi, guys.
And then we're showing her foot, and she's back in studio.
She's back.
So what inspired this? Just being cozy. I think anybody who knows who's had an injury, you don't really want to wear it's comfort over anything.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not trying to get too dressed up. You're not trying to do the most. You just want to be comfortable. So that's what inspired my look today.
How was the foot? How are you doing? We missed you. You're back in studio.
Aw, thanks, guys. I'm doing well. I think, we have these conversations all the time when we talk about athletes. I think the hardest part of going through an injury, whether small or large, is not feeling like yourself in your body and not being able to do the things you normally can do. As you guys know, I'm super active. I do Pilates 4 days a week, and obviously that's not something I'm able to do.
Obsessed with Pilates.
I am, and that's not something I'm able to do. And also, you just don't feel like yourself. I'm somebody who's constantly on the go. I'm super independent. I do things myself, and you have to rely on, other people to kind of help you out. You can't move the same, and it definitely takes a toll on your mental health at times, but I have a good support system, so I'm hanging in there.
There you go.
And I appreciate all the well wishes. I know people have been sending them my way. I haven't responded to all of them. It's been a lot. And also, SiriusXM sent me a beautiful bouquet of flowers.
Yes,
Thank you guys so much
That's
for
so
that.
nice.
It really made my day, and I'm hanging in there. I'm good, though.
There you
I'm
go.
happy to be back with you guys. It's a good distraction.
Shout
Even
out
Brandon.
shout out to SiriusXM,
Big shout
one of our partners here. We're on Faction Talk for all you guys that want to listen to us and don't want to see us. But I feel like it's a good group to look at.
Not us, you.
Oh, they don't want to see me. Okay.
Don't put me in
Faction
there.
Talk Channel 103 on YouTube as well every single day. Broadcasting live, streaming live every single day, Monday through Thursday. We got Corey in the cut. We got Woo Out West, BC in the booth, Mander Legend. And we also, do we have Twan with us today?
Antoine Walker. He's in the
Antoine
building.
Walker, Mr. Shimmy. Do you know why we call him
There he
Mr.
is.
Shimmy, Ashley?
I'm going to call him breast milk from now on.
What happened? Did he drink breast milk?
No, the funniest thing, Antoine's joke went viral because when we had the conversation about breast milk, you weren't here.
Yeah.
You were in
Where was he at the time?
New
I
York?
can't remember.
Yeah,
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, Hamptons.
Yes.
That's exactly what he was.
Excuse the hell out of me. We thought you were working. Okay, whatever. He was in the Hamptons, and we were having the conversation about breast milk.
Yep.
And I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you. Josh Hart went on Twitter and was asking, have you ever tried breast milk? He just had twins.
That's right.
Josh Hart of the New York Knicks. And Antoine was on the show when we had the discussion, and I asked him if he ever tried breast milk, and his answer was hilarious. He said, "No, I have baby mamas. I wasn't trying to try their breast milk." And everybody thought it was absolutely hilarious. But now that you're here, have you ever tried breast milk?
Well, I don't have. Twan, you wow. I saw that clip. Yes.
You have?
Yeah, Mishi breastfed.
Okay.
For our twins and our 4-year-old, and I hit it one
What
time.
What did it taste like? Was it
Little shot-
something
little
that
shot
was
of
it
breast milk.
It
enjoyable
wasn't for
or
me.
was it okay? So it wasn't great.
It wasn't for me. But
I heard it's like sour, right?
Yeah, I'm a
What is it?
weirdo though. I'll do that. I'm that
Yeah.
type
No,
of guy.
a lot. So when
Can you
we
describe the
put
taste?
when we put the clip out, a lot of men were like, "I've tried it."
Yeah.
With you like, and,
For sure.
And someone's like, "I don't have kids, but if I did have kids, I would try it for my
gotta-
wife, for my girl."
You have to think about it. Like when you have kids, all right, and you're involved,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much nastiness happening, right? And I'm not saying breast milk is nasty, but we're not supposed to be drinking our ladies' breast milk. But the kid pisses on you. The kid poops on you. You know what I'm saying? So you just touch things and see things you're not supposed to see. Even in a delivery room, right? So it's just all like it's just
Were you
life
in the
happening.
delivery
It's a
room?
lot. I was.
For all kids?
Yes, for sure. That's right.
Were you
And-
grossed out by the whole?
No, I wasn't.
No? Okay.
But there are so many things that you see. You see guts.
Placenta.
Right. And so that's just one of those things, right, where you feeding the baby, you swallowing the baby, you putting the baby to
graphic.
sleep, you doing all of that. And so as you preparing, the bottle, it's just like, damn, it's like, I feel like it's a human instinct. It's just like,
So what would you describe the taste as? Was it
I
like
can't recall.
watery milk? Was it like
Powdered milk?
powdered milk? Was it like a latte? Like what did it resemble?
I can't recall. I just remember it being almost like the consistency was a little thick, I believe.
It was thicker? Wow.
I think.
Yeah.
And it was just not for me. That's just the only thing I remember. It's like, no, not for me. But I did it. I did it once.
Got it.
There we go.
Just once?
Yeah, I did it once.
Oh,
I don't need to do it again.
That's all we needed.
Maybe if I have some more kids, I'll try it again. Maybe.
Damn, you still having kids?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Antoine said, that's when you lost me, bruh.
God damn.
All right, let's jump into it. Hey, thank you guys for joining us again on another amazing day. True blessing to be sitting here with y'all every single week, every single day, especially with the crew, Corey in the cut, Ashley, Nicole Moss, and our expert NBA contributor, Antoine Walker, Mr. Shimmy himself. Guys, I think we have some news to deliver. What do we have, Corey? What's on the docket?
Yeah, let's go through it. But first, if you haven't gotten a chance to check out Jordan Burks' announcement video, please go check that out on our page. It was dope. Hey, Antoine Walker, you got another Kentucky Wildcat headed your way. Jordan Burks, he made the decision today. Today, he made the decision to go to Kentucky, so we will be following him. But, yeah, news of the day, right? News from the weekend. Saquon Barkley, he announced that he's going to be skipping the Giants' mandatory minicamp, right, as he's, going through contract talks with the Giants. Deadline right now is July 17th in order to sign the franchise tag. And, Brandon, we had this conversation about running backs and whatnot. Like, he's somebody – he's like, I don't want to break the record, for the running back market or whatnot, or even reset the market. Just give me what I deserve. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, so first, I had an opportunity to play softball with him out in Allentown.
How did it go, by the way?
It was awesome.
Did you win?
Devontae Smith, no, I didn't win.
Damn.
So I had an opportunity to play with Saquon. He was on the white team. He was on my team. And we talked about this. And, I was surprised that he wasn't being aggressive. I was surprised that these were his thoughts. Like, okay, I understand the market. I understand where you guys are at. But what you guys are doing is extremely disrespectful. We just need a good deal, a fair deal. Mm-hmm. We talked about Antoine, Saquon and I talked about, is this an opportunity for him to make a statement for the entire running back community? So, Twan, I don't know if you've been following this, but this offseason in the NFL, it seems like every couple years there's some position where the owners come in, where we call it colluding, and Ashley calls it another thing, colliding or something, and her mom tells us what it really is. But every year they come together and say, yo, we got to devalue this position. The running back position is one I feel like, they did that years ago and they understand that, but they do it at the receiver position, the D end, cornerback. So this year, the top three guys that was ready to hit the market, they tagged them at $10 million, Ashley and Twan, which means they couldn't go out there in a team that was a running back needy team and could pay him 13, 14 to, kind of reshape what this running back value is. They didn't do that. And so it's been really interesting to follow. I will say this, and then we can move on, or you guys can give your thoughts. But, and this is supposed to be quicker, but y'all know I'm passionate about this. The franchise tag was only put in place for Mr. B, Mr. Bolin, to keep John Elway, give him more time to negotiate a fair deal. That's what it was for. We talked about this several times on the show. The franchise tag is not a good business practice. It's not fair. It's not good. And they use it, the teams, the organizations use it for leverage to take advantage of the player. So if you're not going to do it the right way, then we need to look at this, not waiting until the CBA agreement is over, but we need to do it now because it's not fair. You got a guy like Saquon Barkley that you drafted in the first round and said, this is going to be the face of my franchise. In 2018, he gave you 1,300 yards. Then he gave you 1,000 yards. He gets hurt in year 3. And then he has an okay year 4, Ashley and Twan. But you look at that year, he had 600 yards, but what we're not saying is the offensive line was crap. And then this kid goes out there, makes up almost half of your offensive production, and now you give him a terrible deal or an okay deal, and then y'all reshape this running back market and then say, you know what, we're going to take that 13, 14 that we offered you, now we're going to put 11 on the table. That makes no sense. It's disrespectful, and this whole franchise tag needs to be ripped up, and it should have no place in the NFL. It should have no place in sports, period. So that's my thoughts there.
I have a question for you because you said something that was interesting that you were surprised that he wasn't being aggressive because he said that he understands the market. And I understand both sides of that argument. One, you only get what you ask for, right? You only get what you demand in this world. But on the other side of that, isn't there a level of appreciation or admiration that you have for a player who understands where the league is right now? And that is, it's not a running back friendly league. So for him to go in expecting X amount of money when the league is not there, that would just lead him to frustration in trying to negotiate something that he probably is not going to get, and disappointment when he ultimately doesn't get it. So for him to have that wherewithal, like, listen, I understand where the league is right now. I'm not asking for a crazy amount of money. I just want my worth. Do you feel that's not being aggressive, or do you feel that's just being knowledgeable and aware of your surroundings?
Well, what I mean by, one, I am proud of him. Because it took me probably 4 years to finally understand how to be diplomatic and how to play this whole business game, right? Like, I would have handled this totally different. I'll be a guy that would be trending on the side of not showing up and potentially not even playing the whole year to make that statement if I was him, right? And I would probably be the guy that would gather other running backs and say, yo, let's make a statement together. But we're thinking about now and not tomorrow. When I say aggressive, Antoine, what I'm saying is, right, is exactly, what I said I would do. This is an opportunity for him to potentially hold out, you know what I mean, or even be more vocal, more public, and he's not. He is being a true pro. And sometimes, Antoine, and I don't know if you've experienced this in your career or on the basketball side, but sometimes being a true pro and a great teammate get you taken advantage of?
Well, I think this is my personal opinion. I feel sorry for football players a little bit more obviously than basketball, because when it's time for you guys to get paid, and what I've seen just being a fan on the outside looking in, it's always a problem, especially for running backs. So if I'm Saquon Barkley, he should be upset. He should wait until he gets his market value. You only get, to me, I think as running backs, you only get one opportunity to get that huge payday.
That's right.
So I think he should sit out and make the right decision. So I get upset about that. But to answer your question about contracts, my last contract with the Miami Heat was something that was problematic for me because I signed a 6-year deal, but the last 2 years were not guaranteed. And this is how they get the advantage of you. And it was off my MRIs, off my knee test. They felt like I couldn't fulfill a 6-year contract. So they only wanted to guarantee 4 years of my contract. And I went through this type of thing. And when you're in the advance and you're at the height of your career and everything is going well for you as a player, you have to try to get max dollars. So if that comes with sitting out, I'm sitting out. If I'm Saquon Barkley right now, he got to sit out. You got to get your max value. You don't know, this opportunity may not never come again. And I know he's a guy that's been hurt too. He's missed some games in his career. So when you have an opportunity to get your money, you got to get it. I just hate this about sports. I hate when owners do this. I think players, we got to start standing up and appreciating our value. He's too valuable to the Giants. So if it means skipping, a mandatory minicamp, skip it. Right. Do what you got to do to get your money, because this opportunity may only come around once.
Now, I will say this. This is something really important for us to know. And I was talking to Saquon, and I said, bro, like, would you, hold out the entire year? Would you, I put a couple scenarios on the table, and he talked through a few things, and I won't say exactly where his mind's at, because, that will, take a little of his leverage, the little leverage he does have away from him. I know he's looking at all options. He wants a fair deal. You heard that in his press conference. But what he told me was, and this is something that went over my head, a couple years ago. I wasn't involved in the new negotiations, the collective bargaining agreement that we now have in place. But July 17th, that date that you talked about, Corey, that date is important, because after that, right, what do we have? We have camp.
Yep.
Now, camp is where you usually can hold out, Ashley, and get your leverage. But now in the new CBA, after July 17th, you can't work on a new deal, which means if he holds out past July 17th, it's for nothing.
Wow.
So the time to get this contract and this deal done is July 17th. Yeah. After that, he has no leverage at all.
It's a weird situation that he's in, right? Because him and Daniel Jones, I'd be willing to bet make up most of that offense.
50%.
Absolutely.
Probably more like 65, 70.
Right.
Like if we really had to put a number on it, right? So Daniel Jones, you pay your quarterback. That's no surprise there. Saquon, because of what the league has become and how they view the running back position, and the running back position notoriously, outside of a few organizations, has always been underpaid, undervalued, disrespected, outside of like the Dallas Cowboys and things like that, who, paid Zeke handsomely. Mm-hmm. He's also fighting against that. So he's fighting against what he knows he brings to the team, and what anybody who watches the Giants or has watched the Giants play knows he brings to the team. But he's also fighting against the fact that the league is now a pass-first league. Yeah. Nobody's really worried about running backs unless you're a running back that can also catch the ball like a wide receiver, a dual position type player. So he's also fighting against the changing of the guard, if you will. So it's a hard place to be in because the Giants also know that the league has changed. They're not oblivious to that. They're the people in the front office, the owners, they know that this is a pass first league now, and it's going to be a pass first league for X amount of years. I don't see it changing back to a run first league anytime soon. So they're holding that leverage above him. Like, yeah, we know what you have brought to the team, but I also know what the league looks like now, what the National Football League looks like now, and you're not the future. So why would I pay you like you're the future when you're not? So it's going to be a hard push and pull, if you will. But that's why I also respect the fact that he has the wherewithal to understand and say, look, I know what the league is now, but that doesn't negate what I'm worth.
Right.
And we need to find a middle ground between those two ideas so that we can both be happy. And I hope that he gets a fraction of what he's looking for. It may not be, an Ezekiel Elliott contract. I don't think it will be. But I hope that he gets paid a lot more than a franchise tag.
Terrible.
I agree.
Terrible.
I agree. All right, moving on. Another name we've been talking about a lot lately is DeAndre Hopkins, and he confirmed over the weekend that he had his visit in Tennessee. He's actually there as we speak. And we've discussed a couple teams and whatnot as potential landing spots, but the Tennessee Titans, they're emerged as of late, as a team that could possibly land D-Hop. What y'all think about that?
Twan, we'll start with you. Y'all feel good in Chicago? Do y'all need any receivers? You feel good about where y'all at? Y'all had a phenomenal offseason.
Of course we need players, man. What are you talking about? We need everything. We need a one receiver. I wish we could get a DeAndre Hopkins. Chicago's in a bad spot right now offensively. We got to continue to keep adding. I mean, I like Justin Fields, but let's see what he can do if you get him some real weapons. I mean, we know he's great with his legs. He's can be a really type of Lamar Jackson type quarterback, but we know we need help in Chicago. But D-Hops, I mean, in Tennessee, they need him. I mean, it's too much pressure on Derrick Henry now. You know what I'm saying? So I hope they get an opportunity again because I actually like watching the Titans. I think if they have to get a one receiver like that, sky's the limit how good they can be.
So Twan, we had D-Hop on the show a couple weeks ago.
I'm very surprised by the Titans.
Yeah, so I was about to go to you, Ashley. So, Ashley, remember what he talked about, what he wanted?
Yeah, this is not any of those things. No shade to Tennessee. No shade to Titans fans. What do they call themselves? Titans Nation? I don't even know. But this is not what he made it seem like he was looking for. He said he was essentially, he wanted to go to a contender. Right. Yeah. He named Patrick Mahomes. He named Lamar Jackson. He named
Jalen Hurts.
Did he name Aaron Rodgers?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. He named like the top quarterbacks in the NFL on teams that are probably the most prepared to make a deep playoff run, if not go to the Super Bowl this year. Or this season rather. So how the Titans are in the mix all of a sudden, I'm not knocking Derrick Henry, love Derrick Henry, King Henry, big fan, but this is not a team that window for them where they look like they were gonna make some noise has kind of come and gone. So I'm very confused.
And there he is.
They got the sprinter with the snacks though. Okay, Tennessee, I see you.
Twan, when you were being courted, as a free agent or maybe through some trades, I don't know how it works in the NBA. Did they pull up in a Sprinter. They probably had the limousines back in your time.
Not the
Twan wasn't no Sprinter. He had the stretch limo.
That's so shady, Brandon.
No, for real. That's when I got.
You got the stretch limo?
Yeah, when I first got in the league in 2006, we had limos. There was no Sprinters.
Did you stick your head out through the sunroof?
No, I ain't do all of that. I ain't do all of that. No, but here's what I would say. Go ahead, Twan.
No, I was going to say no. I think for me, when you talk about free agency, I went Miami. Probably was the only situation that I had where I was really a free agent. I signed an extension my first year, so I was only a free agent with the Miami Heat, and they laid out the red carpet. So every situation is different, but I was obviously they were in a different state, and I also should add to this too. What was different for me was that Miami didn't have any money. So they had to work, and if you can look this up, I think I may still be involved in the biggest sign and trade in NBA history. I think it was 13 players just to get up to the money, my market value. So I know how it feels to be a free agent and be stuck out there for a long time. And we actually got Shaq to take less money per year to be able for me to fit into the cap.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, so Shaq could have took a 3-year
history.
Yeah, he could have took a 3-year $90 million deal, a 3-year $100 million deal. He ended up taking a 5-year deal and took $20 million a year, so to get me in. So I mean, this is all. I was involved in something like this. It's tough when you get to that last big contract, trying to get that last big deal.
Wow, that's dope. I didn't know that story, Twan.
Yeah,
I will say this. I don't think because we had him on the show, Ashley. And he went through what he was looking for in a team and a quarterback in next phase. It's confused. It's definitely confusing. But when you take a step back, it's not a bad situation. It's not a bad situation because this head coach is phenomenal. Vrabel, I put Vrabel in top 5 for sure. Head coaches in the game. He's that.
Whoa.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. Really?
No.
What? You talk about management. You talk about motivation. You talk about knowing the game. He played the game. Like Mike Vrabel. Oh, my goodness. Just look at the last couple years.
Yeah.
And what he's done with Ryan Tannehill as well.
The Titans,
leading the
they've
way.
been contenders really
now,
this year.
a lot of people will say Ryan Tannehill, he's not the guy. But when Ryan Tannehill had A.J. Brown, right, and Derrick Henry was there running, he's not showing any signs of dropping off this year, right? That offense, that team, they were rolling.
No, they were.
Right?
They were.
So you look at it now on that offensive side, what are they missing? They're missing that A.J. Brown.
Big play.
This is a really good team.
I just feel like that window for them has come and gone. There were a few seasons where it was like they kept getting close, and you're like, oh, they're almost there. They're almost there. I just feel like the window with how the other teams are progressing across the league, I just don't know if they have enough to compete. I mean, I look at a team like the Cincinnati Bengals. I look at a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. I look at a team like the Baltimore Ravens. I look at a team like the Jets or the Bills. Do they have enough to compete against teams like that to go all the way?
They have a running. Listen, they have a running game.
If you had to look at that team stacked against any of the other teams that I mentioned,
how you gonna do this?
Would you you wouldn't put your bet on the Titans? They would probably be at the if you had to list them in order of most likely to least likely, the Titans would fall more to the bottom of your list, would they not?
That's true.
So my question is, I'm not knocking his decision making. I'm just confused by it because at this stage in your career, you were in Houston. The Houston situation didn't work out. Deshaun Watson ended up getting hurt, and then he ended up, with his off-the-field situation. He ends up leaving. You go to Arizona. That situation doesn't work out. Both of those teams at one point were good teams that just needed a little bit of tweaking, and if you would have stayed the course, you had an opportunity. You're kind of doing the same situation in Tennessee.
But here's what I would say, and Twan would love to get your thoughts here, and then we can, move on if you guys want to. I think we put the game before the business too much as professional athletes. The game meaning, let's go win championships. Let's do what Shaq did. Let's take that pay cut so we can get Twan in, right? There's only a handful of Shaq. Shaq made how much money off the court? Shaq made how much money on the court? Only a few guys that can actually do that, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because the Tennessee Titans are probably one of the teams that can give him what he wants financially.
Ah, okay. That's different then. That's different then.
So like, you know, as a player, he's out there touring because he's talking about winning the championship. He wants to compete, do all of that. But the reality is, bro, I'll be honest with you. That ring, that trophy, that ain't going 20 years from now when you ain't bringing in 10, 15, 20 million, that ain't going to pay the bills, right? So for me, I feel like he should be looking at this as a business decision, and this is why it makes sense to me, because you will be on a competitive team and you're going to make money. If you go to KC, if you look at the salary cap space now, I think I may have sent you that last night. Did I send you that? Did I DM you the salary caps available across the league? Kansas City has like 650,000 in available space. The Buffalo Bills have a couple million, right? Like there's only a few. The teams that he like, they don't have a lot of money to play with. And you have to go into a season with a reserve capital, because when guys go down, you can still spend some money. So, Twan, you know, how do you feel about players taking, like this, you know, like the Shaquille O'Neal example you just got? Do we put the game before the business too much?
I don't think it's too much, because it's not a lot of guys going to do that. But my personal opinion, I don't think guys should ever put the game before personal, because when you get hurt and you're not able to compete at the level that you're able to compete at, your value drops and you're not able to get the same money. So you got to put that in perspective. I hate when people try to say, well, let's do this for the team because you got a good team. No, it's not about that. You got to have some individual. You got ask yourself sometimes and get your market value. I think every player should get their market value, because these teams, these owners, when you're not able to compete at the level you're able to compete at, and you're not selling tickets anymore, they're not going to pay you anymore. So you have to stand firm. When you got an opportunity to get your money, you have to get it. Every athlete should do that. I don't care what sport it is. And if that requires you holding out, you hold out. You have to get your money when you put the work in to get it. And I hate when guys say they're taking a pay cut to stay so they can win. I'm not doing that. I would never do that.
Right.
I want to get my market value, because I know once it's over, it's over. I looked at, and I can just give you a situation, I look at Melo's situation towards the end. Melo's a Hall of Famer, but he was having tough times getting picked up by teams, and people didn't want to pay him, you know, his market value. So he ends up playing for the league minimum towards the end, because you still love this game. And that bothers me when I see guys do that. I mean, I appreciate that guys love the game that much to want to do that, but this is a business, and you have to run it like a business. When your opportunity comes for you to get paid, you have to get your max dollars. No matter what.
And Twan, Ashley, the reason why the owners always win, because they're better, most of the time, better businessmen than us, and they're more experienced, especially at this level, big business. You know, they're working with billions, right? Is because it's all about numbers for them. For us, there's so much emotion in it. Like that feeling of Twan hitting the game winner, or playing in the biggest moment, or playing with this phenomenal player, running out the tunnel, you know what I'm saying? Like playing in this city, the big lights, that is so, like, you can't replace that. There's nowhere else you can get that type of rush, that type of feeling. And so when we go through the process, we're thinking about all those things, and those things ultimately are distractions at the table. And that's why the owners always, they seem to win, because we take all those emotions and all those feelings to the table. Damn, Tom Brady's over there. And that's how Bill Belichick used to get him. That's how they used to get him. You want to play with Tom Brady? You want to get a Super Bowl ring? And you be like, yeah, I'll take $3-4 million less. Boy, hey, Twan, tell him, when you on this side with us, Twan, you retired. You be like, yo, I wish I had that couple 100,000. I wish I had that M.
I think also though, but I think also there's a other side of that argument. I think for some guys, it gets to the point where they've made their money, but they haven't achieved that one thing, which is a ring, which is a championship. Yep. So for some guys at certain points in their career are like, okay, I've already made my money. Now it's not about money. Now it's about legacy.
Right.
And I think that for some players is why you'll see them towards the end of their career take shorter deals or take deals with less money, even though they can still go ahead and play at a certain standard for them. And now it's not about the money. Now it's about the legacy. Now it's about the hardware. So I think it depends on the player and where they are in their career and how much money that player has made in their career.
Well, let me jump in really quickly. Right behind Ashley, let's get a single shot of Ashley. Twan, you already brought up Melo. All right, that's Melo. And then there's like former NBA star set for retirement. I was reading something yesterday, I believe, and Melo said he no longer thinks about, he
doesn't.
Legacy or all of that, right? Because he said in 2005, was it, or 4, when they got drafted, Melo and Braun and those guys, 2004. He said 2003.
Three. Yeah.
He said 2003 when he said my legacy was solidified, and I'm paraphrasing here. So it was solidified when I shook David Stern's hand on draft day. Championship doesn't define my success, and I feel like more players need to embrace that and work through that, because it is tough.
No, absolutely. But we also need to change the way that we view that. I feel like in basketball specifically, not so much in football, but I feel like in basketball more so, there is this narrative, and it's come with the age of how much the ring discourse conversation is valued in the NBA and how much it's pushed, that a ring equals the value of a player. Right. And the absence of a ring means that player was not valuable in the NBA, that player did not have a successful career. But there are a lot of great players who have never won a ring across the sports world. And I hate that when we constantly are having this ring conversation, we say in one instance it doesn't matter, but then on the other side of the conversation, it's the very thing to kind of push back against a player being great. For example, people knock Kevin Durant for chasing rings.
Right.
But if rings are so valuable and rings are what makes somebody's legacy meaningful, then how can you be mad at a player for putting himself in a situation to win it? And then on the other side of that argument, you have a player like Damian Lillard, who has remained in a situation that he wants to make work his way and has taken the contract and has taken the money, still wants to win a ring, hasn't done it, and everyone tells him to leave. Right. You can't play both sides of the argument. It's either the ring doesn't matter and doesn't make the player, or it does. Right. And I'm not mad at someone for sitting on one side of the argument or the other. I'm just mad when people pick and choose when that argument can be applied to a player.
That's good. All right, I got some news. I don't know if it's on me. I don't know if you guys have some news. Twan, we're introducing this new segment called News of the Day. All right, fans, everybody out there, they want to hear from Ashley and Twan on the big game. Sorry, Corey, it's over.
I thought you took the 100,000 for Game 7 bet. What happened for that?
No. I said if it goes to Game 7, I will bet 100,000 on the Heat. That's what I said.
And who told you it wasn't going that far? You listen to Corey and his emotions. It's gonna get you jacked up.
It ain't over till it's over.
It's over, Corey.
It's over, Corey. Do you know Ashley's nickname? Astrodamus. Have you ever heard anybody refer to Ashley as Astrodamus?
No, that's the first time I'm hearing it.
It's only said on this show, Twan. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
No, she's the Astrodamus. Her basketball takes be hot. They be hitting. All right. I have some news of the day. Let me go to it really quickly. Sports fans are debating, Megan Rapinoe's claims about Sue Bird. All right. If you guys haven't heard them, this Sunday they celebrated Sue Bird's career, and just full transparency, and just to be clear here, Megan Rapinoe, who's a global athlete, an icon in her own right, they've been dating for 5 years.
That's her fiance.
Her fiance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. That's her fiance. They've been engaged for a few years now. So she goes out there and she says, here are the claims that everybody's debating, that she has arguably the best sports career ever, right? We're talking about Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, and so many other athletes. So my question for you, Twan, and crew, is this being biased, or is there something to this?
To be honest, I don't know everything about Sue Bird's career and what she's done in sports. I think Michael Jordan, to me.
Pull it up for us.
I got it. I'm doing it right now.
So you could, but to ever, I'm thinking it's Michael Jordan. That's just my personal opinion.
Why do you have Michael Jordan as ever though? Because you still have Tom Brady.
Because he goes 6-0. He goes 6-0 in the finals, 6 rings, and what he's been able to accomplish off the court. You got to think about his shoes. We were wearing his shoes forever. What he's been able to do, marketing. I think he changed the complexion of marketing for athletes. For all of us, for me and you, Brandon, we played and being able to get marketing deals. I think Michael Jordan.
I didn't get a lot of marketing deals. I got in trouble, Twan. I was arrested a couple times, so I wasn't very marketable
Brandon,
early in my career.
Well, here, Twan, here are some of Sue Bird's accolades to go ahead and add to your conversation here. She's a 4-time WNBA champion, 13-time All-Star, 5-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time NCAA champion, 5-time EuroLeague champion, all-time WNBA assist leader, and that's just some of her accolades.
Does this change your thoughts?
5-time gold medal.
That's impressive.
Olympic gold medalist. So
Twan, does this change your thoughts?
No, I'm still with Michael, man. And I'm not being, but I'm still with Michael. I just think and that's nothing wrong. I mean, this is unbelievable. I did not know half those accolades, but what Michael's done for the game and how it transcended the game, I just think it's Michael when we having this type of conversation.
You know, Twan, this is new media. We're now, Ashley has her degree in journalism. Twan, I don't know what you got your degree in. I got my degree in football. Did you get your degree in basketball or something else? I don't know.
No, basketball. I left early, Brandon.
So you got your degree in basketball.
But you know, I take credit in passing my SAT. I went top 48. I took my own test. I was, I take credit in that.
And then Corey, you have your degree in journalism too, right?
I do, yes.
So Corey, he played ball. He's a special athlete. He was a student athlete.
Yeah.
I'll say this though. I know a lot of people are going to focus on Sue Bird's stat line, and that's, the thing that people on Twitter are focusing on and whatever. In her career, she averaged 11 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. But I mean, listen, whether or not you agree with what Megan Rapinoe said, that's her fiance. She's supposed to gas her up like that. Listen, I hope that one day when I am winning some sort of legacy award or an Emmy or whatever the case may be, an Oscar,
right,
that if my man is presenting it to me, he better say I am the Denzel Washington of whatever the hell I'm doing, even if it's not factual.
Right.
Like, if you can't rely on your own people to gas you up, then who are you? What was she supposed to go up there and say? Here's to a semi-impressive career to my fiance. Congratulations. You're no Michael Jordan. You're no Tiger Woods, but you're okay. No, get up there and say you are the best.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, the undisputed. That's right. Gas your girl up. I'm all here for it. She did what she was supposed to do, and I like that. I love that energy. I'm not mad at that at all. Agree, disagree. That is what you're supposed to do.
There it is. Hey, Ashley, do you play any golf?
I play Topgolf.
And that's a note. Twan, Corey, Woo, BC, any of you guys play golfers?
Yeah, I've played before.
I'm a golfer, man.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Putt golf.
I'm a golfer.
All right, so more news of the day. This weekend, Nick Taylor had a big win. He drained this crazy putt.
72 feet, right?
It was unbelievable to help him win the RBC Canadian Open.
Oh, I saw this video.
Oh, you saw this? You know where I'm going. So, all right, Adam Hanwin, all right, I guess they're buddies, tried to celebrate with him. But security mistaken him as a fan running onto the course to celebrate. Popping bottles, spraying.
Yeah, he had a champagne.
Dude gets tackled. Watch this. Look at this. Boom. That's the
champagne.
Look, this is Adam Hadwin. Bomb. He gets tackled. Great form. That's like a football player. I had to be a football player. Head up. Put his shoulder right down the middle. This was good. Look at the guy.
He's like, hey, that's my mate there.
Right. So, anyways, this was an interesting deal. Do you think this should be celebrated, embraced, or will there be more problems coming out of this? Like, if you're a golfer and you get tackled by security, do you make this a big deal, or do you just like you water under the bridge?
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, let's be honest. Like, golfers outside of like Tiger Woods and a few other don't have the notoriety in terms of like, if I saw a PGA golfer at Publix, I probably wouldn't know who he was.
Right,
you know what I mean? So like, I don't think. I mean, then again, when you're working security at the Canadian Open,
you should know.
You should probably know the golfers from the regular people. You know what I mean? That's like the time security stopped Patrick Ewing at Madison Square Garden. It's like, first of all, he's not a normal sized person. Second of all, it's Patrick Ewing. Like, you work security at Madison Square Garden. You should probably know who Patrick Ewing is.
Was that Patrick Ewing? They did that to Pat and
it was
also
Patrick,
Charles Oakley?
No, Charles Oakley was a different situation.
No,
Patrick Ewing was there. Georgetown was playing, I believe. And security, and he was trying to go into the tunnel to the locker rooms, and security stopped him. And he's like, I'm Patrick Ewing.
Right.
Like, can you move? And security was giving him a hard time. So it was funny because it's like, he's not a normal sized person. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm walking in. It's like he's a giant.
Right.
And then second of all, it's Patrick Ewing. Like, you work security at Madison Square Garden, you should probably know who Patrick Ewing is.
That's crazy.
Charles Oakley was a different situation. But, yeah, I don't think it was like someone should lose their job, but it's kind of like, do your job better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I did want to mention, this was Patrick Ewing's exact statement when they asked him in a press conference. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am.
No, big facts. No, but big facts. That's like D Wade trying to get into the tunnel at whatever they call it now. And they're like, oh, you can't come back here, sir. Do you know who I am? I built this house. Get out my face. Like, what? Yeah, that was insane. I have some news.
Twan, hold on. I think Twan had a thought. You have a thought
Okay, go ahead.
before we move on?
No. I understand this. I mean, security doing their job. I mean, but everybody, security may not know who that golfer was, but that's like, you don't see that in golf. Usually when golfers win tournaments, if you watch most golf tournaments, they go over to their family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kind of ran on there. So I ain't gonna take it out on him too bad. Because usually the family don't run onto the green. Usually the golfer usually goes to his family and hugs them and stuff when they win. They usually wait. So I mean, it's a give and take. I mean,
Twan's such
security,
a nice guy.
He's such a nice. Twan, what if that happened to you at what is it called now? I'm just gonna say where the Miami Heat play. I'm just gonna call that.
No.
What if that happened to you at TD Garden?
TD Garden.
How would you feel?
I mean, I feel a certain type of way, but why they give us passes? When you go to games, you got to have, they give you got like a real family member. You got to get a pass to go in the back. Like, even though security knows they don't stop you, but they still give you passes just in case.
Right.
If I go to a game, they still give me a pass just in case.
Twan, you shouldn't need a pass at TD Garden. What do you mean?
I don't need a pass. I never said I need a pass. I said, but they still give you a pass. They still give you that. I don't need a pass.
He said, make sure you know. Right. I don't need a pass. Okay, Brandon, do you need a pass to go into any of your many football stadiums?
Yes.
Do you really?
The Miami Dolphins. Screw the Miami Dolphins. I don't like the Miami Dolphins.
Let's go.
Yeah, they treated us so bad last training camp.
Dang.
Like, they made my kids I went out there with my kids, and it was like, oh, their name's not on the list. Like, what? What you mean? The Denver Broncos were awesome. The Jets were awesome. The Giants were cool. Seattle, I'm probably banned from Seattle because I went hard right with Russell Wilson when Russell and Pete Carroll was divorcing. As a kid, I took Russell's side, so I'm probably not welcome there. But yeah, there was a few situations.
What about New Orleans? Have you been back?
Well, I was only there for a month. I only had a couple
a month
of teams.
Counts.
Yeah, I didn't go back there. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll probably make me get a pass and make me wait. But the city was great. Like, they loved me. I had a little shotgun crib in Uptown. It was awesome. All the little local stores, they showed love. It was awesome.
That's dope. Well, I have some news. I'm gonna deter from what I was supposed to say to something a little bit more exciting. You might be excited by this, Corey. Tyler Hero was upgraded to questionable and is expected to suit up for Game 5 and attempt a return tonight.
Let's go.
How do you feel about that, Corey?
I mean, well, we need a spark, right? And I think we talked about this on a previous show and how we should be able to incorporate or would incorporate Tyler Hero when the time came. I think we need that spark, for him to kind of just add some scoring to what we got going on right now, because that's really what we need to be able to hang with the Nuggets. So we'll see. I mean, I think this is a perfect segue into the topic, though, right? Yeah, Game 5.
Well, Twan, how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
They need him. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much he can give them. He may bring a boost of energy. Sometimes it's good, but it depends on where he's at. I mean, to think that he could come in and get 25 tonight, I mean, that's probably going to be hard pressed for him to do. Yeah. But he's not in rhythm. But they definitely need the help. So it's a good spark.
Well, it does say, let me add something to that Woj added. It says the hope is that Hero doesn't suffer a setback ahead of Game 5 and can still manage the discomfort he is dealing with in his right hand.
Yeah. What is it called? Acronym?
An acronym?
Yeah, an acronym. Yeah. Do you guys know the acronym KISS?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. Right? So we had Andre Drummond in here. You never heard that one, Twan?
Twan's like,
you never heard KISS? Keep it simple, stupid?
No, but go ahead. Thank you.
So listen, I learned that in football 101 in college. Coach George O'Leary, head coach, taught this class, football 101. So it was like coaching, and it was like keep it simple, stupid, how you like communicate and get the players to buy into the philosophy, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So and Andre Drummond was here last week, Twan. He was in studio, had a phenomenal sit down with him. That was great. Talked a lot about mental health, opened up, so make sure y'all check that out. It's very inspiring. But he came in the next day before the show, and we were talking about it, and he was like, look, it's simple. He used KISS. He said Denver just scores a lot of points. Mm-hmm. That's why they're going to win. Because Miami, very good team, strong championship team, but they can't keep up with the scoring. So I'm saying all that to say this. I actually like Tyler Hero back here, Corey, right? Because if he can come in and help score some points, I think he was averaging like 20 points before.
Yeah, he was.
Before he got hurt.
Season.
Yeah, this season.
Yeah.
He was their number 2 scorer, I believe. Like, this is going to help them out potentially. Now, it's a big if, but they need help in scoring.
I'm going to say this. Miami's lucky it's not the 90s or the early 2000s. Because, Twan, what would happen the minute Tyler Hero's hooked in the core? You slap that hand down.
Smack that hand down.
You smack that hand real hard. And he's back on the bench where he got off of. But he's lucky it's not that game anymore.
But we got to summarize the series, though. Seriously, when you really think about this, the Miami Heat have overachieved all year. Jimmy Butler is terrific in the playoffs, and has carried this team to the finals. And we have to give him a lot of respect for that. And they had a legitimate chance to win. So it's just Denver is more talented, more deeper, bigger than a team than them. And sometimes talent just prevails. You just you can't contain. He have so many unsigned free agents, guys in their team. You got to have some stars. You got to have guys that have been in the league for a while, guys that have been drafted 4 or 5 in the draft. Like these guys that got drafted 4th or 5th in the draft for a reason. I've been first-round picks for a reason. So sometimes, talent is just outweighs what's going on for the Heat, and that's what you're seeing right now. It's a more talented group. The Heat play hard. They do all of the good things, the little things really, really well, and they have a superstar in Jimmy Butler. But when you look from top to bottom, the series is probably where it should be when you look at the rosters and how things are. And they got the MVP. The Joker's a special player. So the Heat have done a terrific job in even making this a series.
I also push back a little bit against what Andre said, that all they do is score a lot of points. That's not all that Denver does, and that's not why they're leading in this series. If you watch, defensively, they've made it hard for Miami to get into a rhythm at times throughout the game. They've also taken away the 3-ball from Miami, and we've spoken about this, or I've spoken about this. Miami is kind of like Boston in the sense where a big chunk of their game relies on their ability to hit those threes. And one of the adjustments that they've been struggling to make is how to go ahead and combat that when those aren't falling. You have to get into the paint. You have to go ahead and play in the mid-range. But when Denver's on you, it makes that even harder. But also from an offensive side, they're on those offensive boards like crazy. They're getting those second chance opportunities, sometimes third chance opportunities. So while, yes, they score a lot of points, they also do a lot of other things well that help them to go ahead and get that edge. And also, they're a really good team down the stretch. You've seen them down 10 points, 12 points sometimes in the fourth quarter, and they just chip away at that game little by little. And down the stretch, they just turn it into their favor. That's a really well-coached basketball team. And I think unlike the Boston-Miami series, where I think that Spoelstra out-coached Missoula, I think Spo is having a tougher time with Coach Malone, who I also think is an exceptional coach. And also Denver's a big team. Yeah. Those are big boys. Yeah. And Miami's not that big. So it makes it a little bit harder also when you're already at a deficit in terms of offensive score in your offense. Now you have to go ahead and fight against guys who are a lot bigger than you. There's just a lot of things not working in their favor right now.
What type of game do you think they need from Jimmy tonight? Like, do they need like a career game from Jimmy in order to win, or do you think some of the other
not a career game? He's got to go for 40. I think it's going to take a 40-point performance. And it don't have to be exactly 40, but he has to have one of those nights. Now, can't be a 27-7 night. That's not going to get it done. And Ash, I got to give you a lot of credit because when you talk about the Denver Nuggets, they are, and I didn't really study the Denver Nuggets, so I started watching the finals to try to figure out how good they really are. But they got length, they can score the ball, and they have the most skilled big man in the game. So that makes them very, very difficult. And I think because we don't give Joker a lot of credit, but the disposition that he puts a defense in is it's like a Michael Jordan on the floor. You gotta he does so many things. You gotta decide if you want to double him. You gotta decide if you want to make sure if he goes one-on-one, his passing ability is second to none. So they have a different attack that we haven't seen before from the center position that's playing pretty much on the perimeter. He's not a Shaquille O'Neal. He's not a Hakeem Olajuwon, a guy that's going to kill you from the block. He does it in all facets. So it's just different. And the Miami Heat, roster-wise, and you got to get back to it, they've overachieved. They're just not talented enough roster-wise to compete with the Denver Nuggets. And Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. I think they came up with a decent game plan. But if you're not playing without one of your top scorers, and Tyler Hero, a guy that averages 20 points a game, it's going to be very difficult to win this series. People don't want to talk about that. Everybody's making all these excuses because the Heat are in the finals. Yeah. But when you're missing a 20-point score against a team like Denver that's going to get 110, 115, that's deep, you're not going to win it. You're not going to win this series. And that's what it really boils down to no matter what. They're undermanned. You got to give the Miami Heat a lot of credit to be in the finals. They're coming from the AC, and we have to give them a lot of respect. But they're overmatched. And that's just the bottom line.
And I don't think it's even Jimmy Butler, Corey. I think that, you can hope for a 40-point Jimmy Butler game, but I really don't think you're going to get that from him. He seems to not be in that headspace. You see it when he plays sometimes. He's not as aggressive with that ball as you would like him to be in the finals. He's more willing to facilitate and pass. Sometimes it looks like he doesn't even want to take the shot. Like there are some times in some of these games where he doesn't even look at the basket, which is uncharacteristic of Jimmy Butler, right? So I think that in order for Miami to stand a chance to bring this back to Miami, it's going to take the supporting cast. It's going to take Caleb Martin. It's going to take Gabe Vincent. It's going to take Duncan Robinson. It's going to take Strus. It's going to take those guys to pick up the deficit, because I don't think that Jimmy Butler can carry this load this time around. He's just not where you need him to. Even when you watched him walk back from the game in the tunnel, he just doesn't seem, he's not in that same attack mode that you normally see.
It's like super calm.
Yeah, it's a different Jimmy Butler. It's a different Jimmy Butler.
You think he's almost too calm, Brandon?
Well,
he's too passive.
I don't know. I want to, let's ask Twan that. Like, Twan, do you see, because as a player, sometimes when there's so much chaos and so many things going on, staying even kill, that's the goal, is to be even kill. But we've seen Jimmy Butler just like on 100 and just so animated, so aggressive. So is this Jimmy Butler trying to be even kill, or you think something's going on?
Well, at this point in the season, he could be worn down a little bit. They had to work so hard to get into the playoffs. Let's not forget about that, because they're in the finals. They've had a harder road than the Denver Nuggets to get to the playoffs. He could be worn down, and he has to do so much for this team. One thing about Jimmy's we've seen big nights, and we call him Jimmy Buck because he has certain times because we've seen him put together big nights. But preferably, Jimmy would like to be a guy that probably gets you 18, 20 points, 7, 8 rebounds, 7, 8 assists, and defend the best offensive player on the other end. But now he really can't do that. They need him to score the basketball and get 30, 35. You got to look at the Miami Rock. Kyle Lowry is not the same point guard that he was,
Kyle
so he's
Lowry.
not he's not going to give you that. Bam, you don't know what are you going to get from Bam. You can get 20, or you can get 30 from Bam. You don't know which one you're going to get. So they don't have consistent scores, especially with Tyler Hero not being 100%, not being able to go. So for Jimmy, it's tough because he has to pick his spots, and you still want him to do what he does well, and that's defend and do all the other little scrappy things on the floor. So he's not able to beat Jimmy. You're asking him to beat Jimmy to score, and I think that's what's making it a little harder for him because he doesn't have that necessarily in his mindset. Jimmy Butler's one of the best, if not the best, two-way players we have in the league. So you have to think about that's where he's at his best at. Now you ask him to be a scorer and get 35, 40. He's capable of doing it. We've seen him do it, obviously, a number of times, but I don't think that's the game that he wants to play.
Right. Let me ask you this, Ashley. I thought basketball players, like you that's something that you always keep is your shot, right? So you just brought up Kyle Lowry, and it's not like a big topic, and I'm not trying to get too messy here, but I was watching the last game, and I'm in Prime Italian, sitting at the bar. I'm on my third Pinot Noir. So I'm drinking red wine, just chilling by myself, some grown man-ish. Okay.
Getting lit by on the solo dolo.
And this lady comes next to me, Hispanic lady. Don't know where she's from. Hispanic though.
She's cute.
And she has older lady, but back in the day probably cute.
Whoa! Wow, Brandon.
And she has a Heat jersey on, but she like speaking broken English.
Okay.
But she's a fan, right? And so we just sitting there chilling. The game. We watching the game. The game kind of watching us. Boom. And then Kyle Lowry comes down, and remember the he shoot a three, and he banked it in. He shot. It was like, okay, cool. He starts smiling, laughing, right? Like if you don't call it, come on, like no love. We laugh at that as hoopers. You hear me say we. But then he came down two more times, shot the three, and it was like, how you missed that bad? Like I thought, it's like, yo, you can at least do that. I thought Kyle had a nice little shot. He is missing so bad. He's contributing nothing.
He's old.
But that's my point. That was my question. And
he's borderline out of shape.
But that's my question to you, Antoine, right? I thought basketball players, or do basketball players always have that shot? Or do you lose your shot?
It depends on what kind of shot you have to begin with. If you're a player who, it depends, and Antoine can speak to this a little bit more, but like it depends. Like if you are a player who relies a lot on your legs and your lateral when you make a shot, you lose that with age.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some players don't have that kind of a shot. They're more of a what's the word I'm looking for? They're more of like a spot up stagnant shot, so they don't have to use their legs as much. So there's not that constant like that movement. Kyle Lowry also is not in the best of shape. Like he's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? They call him thick for a reason. Like it's extra weight on his body. So I just think it's a few things in his. But like somebody for example, someone like a Reggie Miller doesn't lose their shot because of how they shoot.
And it's one of those moments, Twan. I'll let you answer this question, and we can move on. It's one of those moments for me. You had to beat her. I had a great time sitting in Prime Italian. Italia. Is it Italia or Italian?
Italian.
And the lady and I, like when he missed that third shot or that second shot, and we were barely watching at this point. We were kind of like, I don't know, about to take a bite. He missed so bad that we both was like, oh! It was that bad, bro. How the hell does
But he's never been, Antoine, I mean, you can like correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never thought of Kyle Lowry as a pure shooter. Like he's not a KD. He's not a Reggie Miller. He's not a Steph Curry. Like
you can't miss that bad.
Those are guys who won't lose their shot. But Kyle Lowry was never like, I don't know, I could be wrong. I don't think of Kyle Lowry as a pure shooter. So that shot wasn't
gonna. He made some big shots. He made some big shots in the championship when they won.
I don't know.
Break this down for me, Twan.
Well, Kyle Lowry's a bulldog. I think one thing, and he was known. He wasn't. I agree with Ashley to a certain degree. He's not known as a shooter, but he's made himself into a decent 3-point shooter. With his run, when he had his run in Toronto with DeMar DeRozan, he was called on to score more, and he did a terrific job. They had some success there. I think the big thing with Kyle Lowry is that he's still put into that role where they need him to score the basketball. And can he score like he scored a couple years ago? No, he's not that same player. So that's what we get a little upset, and people get a little upset when they see him, because you saw that in Toronto where he was a decent to better. Well, I would say decent to good 3-point shooter, can score the basketball, but those skills have diminished now.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to figure out different ways to help the Heat team. He's done a terrific. So he's done a terrific job of figuring out how to help the team, and it could be his leadership, it could be taking charges, doing the intangible things, leading in the locker room. So it's other ways he can contribute to help the team. I think sometimes because he's such a big name, an all-star in this league, we looking for something different from Kyle Lowry, but he's not the same player that we saw a couple years ago. I think he does a good. That's why they've taken him out the starting lineup. You see Sproulson plays with him a little bit, in and out the starting lineup. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out different ways he can be effective for the team, because they do have so many guys that are undrafted.
He a dribbler at this point.
You
dribble the ball up. That's how you contribute.
You can't
dribble the ball up the court.
And think of it like the perfect way to think of it is like hitting big shots in big games doesn't make you a pure shooter.
Yeah.
It just makes you, I don't want to say lucky, it makes you efficient. But that doesn't make you a shooter if you can't do that consistently. And Kyle Lowry is a streaky shooter.
Listen, Ashley, you seen me in Louisiana and Baton Rouge against Angel Reese. You seen me. Twan, I'm being honest, yo. Y'all be laughing at me a lot when we talk basketball. But listen,
which one? The dunk video?
No, he see. No,
I saw him shooting. I saw the video. You know, I saw the video.
But I was nice though. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might be looking at the wrong one, because this one, Ashley will tell you, I went 10 from 10 at the line. I was lights out from 3, and I beat Angel from the half court.
You are a really good free throw shooter.
What about 3-point? You don't remember that?
3-point, you didn't hit every single one.
All right,
well, but you are a phenomenal. Listen, Twan, games on the line. You want Brandon Marshall at the free throw line, because he's gonna bank him in. That he can do.
First ever.
What about 20,000 screaming at you?
Twan, you think I'm Jamal Murray? I'm glad. That's a great point. Because you think I'm Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray.
Wait,
hold on.
You wish you were Jamal Murray.
No. This will get us. This is a smooth transition. And let me finish up this last point. When shooters shoot, Ray Allen right now, put him in the corner. Put him on the corner. I guarantee he's lights out right now. Right now, shooters shoot. That's all. That was my whole thing. He's not a shooter. Thank you guys for breaking that down for me. Jamal Murray, Twan, you just said 20,000. So Ashley and I got in this heated debate a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, yo, he's not a superstar. He's not like this guy. Who is he? Right? Like in a bubble, averaging 50 felt like.
I never said he was a superstar.
What was the debate?
You said he wasn't elite.
Yeah, okay. To me, I don't have him in as elite, right? Before this series. Look at because in the bubble, bro, like because you mentioned 20,000 screaming.
I don't have him elite in this series. After this series, he's not elite. I'm not starting my franchise. With Jamal Murray.
You wouldn't say he's top 10 in at his position?
No,
that's not what's making.
No. I would not start
top 10 at his position
with Jamal Murray.
At his position, you wouldn't have him top 10.
I gotta interject now.
What position is he?
He's a point guard.
He's a combo guard. He's not a point guard.
Okay,
there's
no such thing as a true point guard anymore. So,
well, it is some true point guards, but he's not a point guard. What you mean? It's true point guards.
Don't take Chris Paul. He's ancient. Give me like a real true point. John Morant's not a true point guard. Steph Curry's not a true point guard.
You talking about because of scoring?
Yeah, they're not true point. There's no such thing as a true point guard anymore.
Okay, it's probably half. We can go half.
So you wouldn't put Jamal Murray top 10?
As point guards in the NBA?
Or combo guards, since there's no such thing as a true point guard anymore.
Oh, now combo guards. Now you got me. I got to create my list, but he probably falls in the combo guard. But now you're saying the right thing. He is a combo guard. That's the perfect way I would, if I was critiquing him and had to give him a title, I wouldn't give him a point guard title. I would say a combo guard. Like Damian Lillard is not a traditional point guard.
No.
He's a combo guard.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Steph Curry's not a traditional point guard. He's a combo guard.
Correct.
Steph Curry's averages 5 or 6 assists in his career. He's not leading the league in assists and chasing after assists. He's a combo guard. That's what the league has turned into mostly. So he's great in that sense.
So my thing is this, Twan, because the reason why I brought it up, right? In a pandemic, they go in the bubble, no fans. There's a lot of guys that stood up and balled like crazy, and he was one of those guys. following the bubble, we didn't see the same Jamal, and then he came back and hurt himself, right? And then he's trying to find his way back, finally got his legs back this year, or whatever. So we got into this debate about him being elite or not. I say he's not, because you got to show me sustained success at a high level for a long time. And so, like, I just didn't have him there. Ashley did. Now, going into this series, this is before this series. This is last series. Now, seeing what he's done this series and last series, like, I feel like it is a discussion, Twan. Like, the dude has been playing lights out. So you just said that you don't have him in the elite level yet, at the elite level yet. But what does he have to do? I guess my question is, what does he have to do to get there for you?
When I think about elite, I think about when I'm in the locker room and coaches are talking about we're scheming to stop a certain player, and we're going to double team him, we're going to play him a certain way, we're going to do things a certain way, we're going to play him a certain way. I don't think with Jamal Murray, not saying this, I just don't think we're in the locker room trying to figure out how we're going to stop him. We're going to play it. We're not going to trap him. We're going to allow him to go one-on-one. He's not one of those guys you do that to. It's some elite guys in this league that you make sure you double team, you trap his pick and roll, you try to get the ball out of his hands. A lot of times, that's the Steph Currys, the Damian Lillards. You know, those are guys you're in the locker room describing, making sure you drawing up defensive strategies to stop them. Jamal Murray's not necessarily that guy to do that. You don't mind. I think if playing the Denver Nuggets, if Jamal Murray gets 30 and I hold Joker to 15, I'm happy. So it's just a different. It's totally different when you talk about that. I just don't throw that word elite around a lot. You can't just put that on every player. Every player is not elite. Sometimes it's the situation, the team that they have, the role they play with their team, but every player is not elite. And I think Jamal Murray's a great player. Yes, I think he's a great player. It's a great addition. He's been a terrific Robin, obviously to Joker. And obviously he's to come back off his ACL. We don't see guys come back off that type of injury and be at the level that he's playing at. I think he's done it quickly. And he is a borderline all-star. I'm not going to say he's an all-star yet. He's a borderline all-star. He's got potential to get there. And I think now once he, another year and that knee feeling a lot better, he can become an all-star in this league.
I just feel like if you're top 10 in your position out of 400 players in the NBA, that's elite.
No.
Like
top 10?
Jamal Murray is a top 10 if you want to call him point guard, combo guard. He's absolutely top 10.
But I know, but 10, that number for me is off, Ashley. 10 doesn't make you, it got to be like top 3, top 4.
But it's 10 elite out of 400 players.
No.
Do you know how many players there are in the NBA?
Yes.
Do the math on that.
I understand. Go ahead.
If we consider Jamal Murray a combo guard, then there's more players that we have to
I consider him a point.
Pool.
To me,
so
he's,
is
a combo guard by definition because I believe there's not a true point guard, but he is a point guard by position. So if we're just going point guard, he's top 10 to me. I don't understand how you can watch what he's done.
He could be top 10, but that don't make you elite. I just don't like your numbers, how you doing the numbers thing. Like if he's top 3 at his position, that's elite. 10?
Okay.
No,
there's only how many teams are there in the NBA?
30.
30. So that's what we're looking at.
But we're not looking at it by teams. We're looking at it by players. There's 30 teams, but there's over 400 players.
I know, but you got to look at it as far as like, you got 30 NBA teams. So that means there's 30
that should
point
be a
guards.
poll question.
Okay, let me ask you.
What is it? Twan said that need to be a poll.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. If you talk about the top 10 players in the NBA, would you say those top 10 players are elite?
Top 10 players?
If you look across
top 10 players in the NBA are like Hall of Famers or like superstars.
So if the top 10 players in the NBA are elite, then how are the top 10 players for their position not elite?
That's just.
I can hear that. Or
I'm just trying to get clarity because if top 10 is enough. When you look at the landscape
top 10 out of everybody
and top 10 of every point guard in the NBA, how's that not elite?
Because top 10, you're looking at, you got a center, you got a point guard,
right, that's like
you got a shooting guard.
That's 50 players essentially. So,
right.
Like I'd say 25 through 50 aren't considered elite, or maybe 20 through 50 wouldn't be considered elite.
See, I feel like when we have these conversations go elite, this is what I would love to do. I feel like somebody needs to come out and put the criteria together, because we work off of different criterias. Your criteria around GOAT elite is different than mine. So you're going off of 400 and I'm going off of the 30 positions available. I'm looking at starters. That's what I'm looking at. So, I feel like when we have these conversations, we need to first establish the guidelines and the criteria of what we're talking about, and it'll make it easier. But Corey, you felt some type of way about this Jamal Murray thing, like.
Well, I want to talk about Jamal Murray and his partner in Jokic, and really just the Nuggets in general, right?
Jokic.
Yeah. Like, if they were to capture this title, Antoine, are we talking about the team of the future? Are we talking about a team that, I don't want to use the word dynasty, right?
Hell no.
Are we looking at the start of a dynasty right now?
Hell no.
No, honestly, and this is not to take it, I think it's a one-hit wonder. I think
Yes. Talk, Twan.
I think it's a one-hit wonder. That's just my personal opinion. I just think they have to continue to add pieces around it. I mean, I love the Joker's playing at an unbelievable level, but you got to continue to add pieces around this team for them to for that conversation to take place. I think this is a one-time thing. The West is tough. I think, obviously teams are going to continue to get better in the West to compete against them. And it's going to be hard to see if they can get back there again. I think because now you're maxing out your top 4 or 5 guys. So how are you going to continue to build the bench around them and put pieces around them? That's to be the key for their success moving forward. Because you got to look at the Nuggets team. The Nuggets have a very, very good team. They're probably 10. They could probably go 10, 11 deep and get production on their team. That's what a lot of people don't talk about. They did a great job in the draft. They did a great job in free agency of adding pieces around Joker and Jamal Murray. So how is the ownership going to be willing to continue to spend money to make this happen? Because we see this happen a lot in basketball and sports in general, where the ownership does not actually kick in and make the team successful. Like Golden State has had to continue to put pieces around them because you pay 2 guys and it's not enough money to go around. So all those things, to me, plays a part in how good you're going to be moving forward. But I do believe it's a one-hit wonder. I just don't think they have enough to be good for the next 4 or 5 years.
Astrodamus is like, look, what's up? You good? You good? You straight?
I don't know if I can back that one, Twan. I feel like this is.
We'll see.
Who's the biggest competition in the West?
I feel like this is a team that reminds me a lot of the San Antonio Spurs in terms of the era of Ginobili, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. They're not flashy. They're not a team that gets a lot of eyes during the regular season. They're not, the most fun to watch.
It's not bad.
Depending on, how you rank watching basketball. For me, I enjoy watching them because although they're not the flashiest, they play fundamental, just really good basketball. And
they play hard too.
I'm somebody who's a basketball purist. I don't need the dunks and the lights and I can just watch it like that. They remind me a lot of them. And I think that when that's your fundamental, it's hard to kind of count against that and say it's a one and done situation. I agree with Twan, though. I do think they're going to need to build around Jokic. They're going to need additional pieces. But I think that if you can keep Gordon, Murray, Jokic, those 3 guys
Gordon
together, and you can build around them and move those pieces accordingly, I don't know. I feel like this team can do it again.
Yeah, and
it may not be a back-to-back situation. It may not be a 2-peat type of situation, but I think that this team, if you can keep those 3 guys together and build around them, I think we'll see them again for sure.
Yeah, she's not. Go ahead, Woo.
I just got something real quick for you guys, and this is from BC. On Friday, the Denver Nuggets, in a rare trade by an NBA Finals participant, they actually have a 2024 first and second round pick and a 2023 second round pick in a deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder for a protected 2029 first round pick.
Damn.
So they're I feel like they are kind of building towards.
I'm telling you, I think that this, I don't know. Like, I don't like throwing that word dynasty around. I just feel like there's only a few of those in the NBA, but
they're not going nowhere no time soon.
They're not going anywhere anytime soon. I think that they're going to be a top dog in the West for many years. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of series roll through Denver, and that's the course that teams have to take to get to the finals coming out the West. I just think that this is a really good basketball team with a ceiling that hasn't even been hit yet.
Twan, this Ashley's San Antonio Spurs comparison, does that change your thought a little bit? Because that was an excellent comparison. I don't know how she pulled that one and where she pulled it from. But
my head? Excellent. What the hell?
I ain't want to say after you pulled this out of the thing.
Yeah, she could have heard somebody else say it before, but
oh my God!
I'm teasing. No, I'm teasing Ashley. No, I'm just teasing. No, that was an excellent point, and that actually opened that actually just like it's an eyebrow raiser to make me start thinking that they do got a kind of a San Antonio type team when you think about what Tim Duncan. They got the big in the middle, who's the MVP, the big guy, and continue to put pieces around. But I never said Denver wasn't going to not be in the mix for years to come. They got a great foundation that's already established, but they're going to have to continually add pieces around because they got some deficiencies.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So you get lucky sometimes, and not taking anything away from the Miami Heat, but they are playing the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference.
But they ran through everybody in the West team. They were the number 1 seed, or they had the best record all year. Ashley, is that true?
They were the top dog in the West the entire season, so number 1.
Not East and West. They didn't have the best record all year.
No, I think actually an interesting stat was that because of how bad or how stretched out the West was, if Denver were in the East, they would have been like a 3rd or 4th seed. So I don't think they had the best record in the NBA. I think that was either Milwaukee or Boston.
It was Milwaukee and Boston.
And Denver was 3rd.
Listen. We talked about Jamal Murray. That's how we got to this. Sometimes when you go on runs like this, it gives you the confidence and the experience as a player to kind of ride that and take you to or elevate you to the next level. So as we're talking about Joker and sustaining the success, Jamal Murray. I mean, this could be us seeing him enter his prime and enter into a mindset where he just believes and knows that, I am elite. I don't give a damn what Ashley's talking about, whether it's Ted or Brandon.
No, he doesn't care what Brandon's talking about, not Ashley.
What I'm saying is 10-3, whatever, I'm elite. I don't care about y'all numbers. I'm elite. And so when you think about this, you know what I'm saying, and how they're set up, this could be really interesting for years to come. My only question is, who is that guy, like that dog? Michael Jordan wants to win at everything. Kobe Bryant wants to win at everything. So is Joker going to do this year in and year out? Or is he going to relax? Or is he going to take his foot off the pedal once he hoists the trophy one time?
No.
Right? So who's that in the locker room? We know who it is as we go through all these other teams. Tom Brady was that. Right? You go to even the Celtics. The Celtics, they had 2-3 people. Coach, I don't think Coach Bud is that guy. Coach Bud is excellent coach, very aggressive, tough. You saw him a couple games ago where he called his team out from effort. That's good, right?
Who? Coach Malone.
Coach Malone. Sorry, I said Coach Bud. Coach Bud. Then he get fired from the Bucks.
The Bucks. Yeah.
Right, Coach Malone.
Well, you gotta get hungry, B. To answer your question, can this group stay hungry? If they win this series against the Miami Heat, these guys, most of their guys I haven't looked at it, but most of their guys under contract. You're coming back next year with the same team. How many you want to get?
Right.
You know your mistakes. You just went through this journey. How many you want to get? They in position to do that. Does Joker have to have another MVP season for us to get back to this point, or is the confidence rise? But
I don't think so.
Win it all.
And I think also, Brandon, not everybody. I think you don't always need that pit bull.
Yes, you do.
Hold on.
Yes, you do.
Hold on. Some teams can function in a different competitive space without that. Going back to the Spurs, Tim Duncan wasn't the loudest. He wasn't the most aggressive. He wasn't the get in your face and what are we going to do? He wasn't a PJ Tucker. But when he spoke, that locker room listened. On the court, when he said something, they listened. And I think Jokic has a lot of that energy about him. He doesn't have to be the loudest, but when he speaks, you listen. And when he asks something of you, you bring it because it's Jokic.
Right.
And I think it's that respect that they have for each other and that confidence. And remember, this is a team that has had a lot of time, at least the tandem of Jamal Murray and Jokic has had a lot of time to develop and grow with each other.
But let me respond to that.
This didn't happen overnight.
Let's go back to, let me respond to that. Let's go back to the Spurs. Tim Duncan had to they just asked him to be Tim Duncan. And I do believe he had that competitive spirit, but it was from the top. In this situation, Greg Popovich Greg Popovich was that dog, was that person.
Malone's their dog.
Is he?
Malone's the one who called them out and said, "Listen, you guys aren't doing it enough.
Yeah.
You aren't doing enough for me."
Right,
like
guys,
he comes from the New York Knicks coaching squad.
Was Malone? No, that was. I'm keep getting Malone and Bud mixed up. Which one came from the Spurs, Malone or Bud?
Well, Malone was part of the New York Knicks coaching squad back in the day.
Bud was the Spurs.
Bud was Spurs. But
Yes.
we got to remember too. Sometimes when we're looking at this run and we think what Denver could do, look around the league. It's wide open for them to have a run of possibly the next 3-4 years. The Lakers are their best. LeBron is older.
He's
contemplating
done.
towards maybe 1 year left. Then you got to think about Golden State. They got to get better. They're not going to be able to do it the roster they got in place. They got to get a little bit stronger. You got to think of other top teams. Memphis in disarray with the whole Ja Morant situation. The Suns probably is the only team that probably got some intactness to it, where you think they got Kevin and obviously Devin Booker. So the West is wide open for them to make a run for the next 3-4 years to put themselves in position to get, if they get this title, to get multiple titles. They're in a great space right now, and they can continue. And they've locked up a couple of their players. Guys are under contract. You know how big free agency is going on in the summertime. You coming back with the same crew. It's open for them if they win this title to do it a couple times.
Sure.
Hey guys, we didn't check in with the chat at all today. We are being so selfish. This is a great conversation. We got deep into conversation. Been a great show. Phenomenal topics. Great job, Corey. Sure. Love the flow today. But I feel like we've been so disrespectful. Woo, do we have anything happening in the chat today before we move forward? This is Ashley Nicole Moss, Antoine Walker, Mr. Shimmy himself. I don't know why. For years, they said Mr. Shimmy.
Stop calling people by their first and last names.
I like the nickname.
You're such a fed.
Corey Holmes, Corey in the cut, Woo out west, BC in the booth, Mander legend. We got JP out in Cali. I don't know what he does during the show, but anything coming out, that's JP. He is our guy. All the content, Twitter, YouTube, JP. We got our graphic designer, Jazz. Jazz does a phenomenal job there. We just got a great team. And then part of that team is our squad. We got to come up with a name. Squad, team, for the chat.
Rowdyans.
No, you got to be like Rowdyans. No.
I don't like that one. I don't even know what that means.
That was a joke, guys.
Woo, what's going on in the chat today?
Honestly, the
updates?
chat is very active. Like, we have over 300, sometimes 400 watching live. And honestly, the chat's just been participating. They've been going back and forth, handling the questions, talking to each other. We also got JP in the chat. But right now,
anything interesting?
Nothing big. Nothing too big.
Any Brandon Marshall slander? People like to hate me.
No, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Okay. I do have a nickname I just saw roll up. Brandon Fed Marshall.
Brandon.
Well, that's from Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley just planted that
because
seed.
Brandon has this thing where he calls people by their first and last name, and that's just such an op-fed officer thing for someone to do. It's just so weird. He calls Stack Steven Jackson. Antoine's been on the show for over an hour. It's Antoine Walker. Can you just call people by their first name?
That's what traditional media do. That's what I'm trying to be.
No, it's weird.
All right, I got one more thing, and I think this actually might work. Lake City Fresh in the chat gave us a nickname, the Route Runners.
The Route. I don't like it.
Damn.
The Route Runners.
No,
sorry, Lake City.
Squad, team, teammates. Teammates is corny too long.
That's Brandon. Those are terrible. The
Team.
Route Runners
Squad?
are actually not bad.
The Route Runners?
Squad?
It
Is that the most
kinda
creative thing you
It's
come up
at
with?
least considerable,
Squad?
I would say, right?
Well, give me something better.
I like Route Runners.
Route runner. What about when we talk about basketball? You don't run routes in basketball.
But it's paper route.
Paper route.
You're running
the
the route.
Paper route running. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
That's pretty much only.
Oh, my God.
No, I saw something with Jake. The reason there was some post yesterday. Maybe it was on Complex Sports about they reposted a tweet from J. Cole years ago, and he was like, I don't know about all these other rappers, but I just want to say thank you to the 500 people who follow me. You know what I'm saying? So every day, there's been times where we had 150 people watching us live, and then there's times where we hit 1,000. You know what I'm saying? But we average somewhere around 300 something. And today it's pretty cool because it was 250 last week. Now we're at 300 to 400. And so just shout out to y'all, because what I envision or what I see in the future is 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people rocking with us live in our clips and our videos, which they're already doing a phenomenal job, going crazy. But, hundreds of thousands to millions of views a day. So it starts with you guys, and we appreciate y'all. That's why we want y'all to continue to contribute, continue to engage. We want to know y'all by y'all names, where y'all from, the type of brands y'all want us to partner with, all of that stuff. So we in this together.
Real quick, we got a chat question from TJ Strickland. Which QB will have a better rookie year, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young?
Good question.
The one that plays for the Panthers. What was that? CJ
Bryce Young.
Yeah, the other one's in Houston, right?
He just got named QB1.
That's not an option.
Who was just named QB1?
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
He's starting to get QB1 reps in OTAs.
Yeah, the other one, unfortunately, is in Houston, and
yeah,
he's like the automatic starter there, I think.
I'm going to go neither. I'm going to go
you can't go neither.
Neither?
You
Is
can't.
it neither or neither?
I say neither. But you can't go. You have to pick one or the other. That's the game. I hate when I play this game with people, and it's like, would you rather, I don't know, lick the bottom of a shoe or lick a toilet seat? And they're like, neither. It's not the game. You have to pick one.
Okay. Then I'm gonna do the same thing Ashley do, because I tell y'all all the time, if y'all want college football, don't call me. Bryce Young is in Carolina, and Stroud is in Houston. I like Bryce Young because you have Josh McCown as his quarterback coach. He's going to be a head coach. He could have been a head coach a year ago, 2 years ago, but he understood, and I think everybody understood the type of backlash the Houston Texans would have gotten, and I think he didn't even want that deal. He's phenomenal, ex-teammate. I think he's going to have him in position, and Coach Frank. Frank is he played in the league. He was a backup to, I forget, what legendary. Where was Frank? Can you look at where Coach Frank Wright played and who he backed up? But I'm gonna go with Bryce Young. You have any dog in this fight, Antoine?
Nah, man. I'm a Bears, man. I don't really get caught up in them other teams.
Justin Fields going to get it done or what?
I hope so. I hope so.
Right.
What was the Kodak Black meme where he has the ski mask on and he goes, I hope so.
He's on Breakfast Club, right?
He's on the Breakfast Club. He says, "Is that your girlfriend?" Or he said, "You're gonna have a Valentine this year?" With his shiesty on. He goes, mask on. "I hope so."
Hey y'all, quick question: have y'all noticed my lips like dry, like dehydrated today? Ashley, what's going on?
I don't think Antoine has looked that hard. Oh.
I'm just saying, like,
for a little bit, fella.
Ashley, like, what happens? Like, because, like, there's, like, every 3 weeks.
I told you to exfoliate your lips. I put you onto this, like, weeks ago.
Right.
Have you done it?
No.
Okay, then.
Antoine, have you heard this before? Because, like, I brought this up before. Like, every once in a while, my lips just seems, like, off. Like, even today, like, the coloring right there is, like, off. Ugh.
You know what that's from?
No, I think you used to doing TV, Brandon. I think he used to doing TV and having all that stuff right there, and they put the little lip balm on you on TV.
Right.
Just go get the little lip balm, man.
The little lip balm. I got some. I got some right here. I got some.
Oh, you walking around with it? I was just joking.
I got two of them things. They ain't working today. I feel like they.
You have to exfoliate. You have dead skin on your lips. You have to exfoliate first and then moisturize. Okay. Let him know, Corey. You light skin. I know you know.
Yeah, man. Gotta exfoliate, like she said. She will not steer you wrong.
Light skinned dudes know. You know what? He knows what time it is.
I'm weak.
Look, you're not doing anything but moisturizing dead skin.
Hey, so Ashley, you was on a date with a dude and he pulled out the chap and hit his lips. You wouldn't mind with that stuff?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of weird.
Chapstick stuff?
No, like if I'm on a date and you pull out chapstick like across from me,
yeah.
That doesn't sit right with my spirit.
Really?
It's a red flag. Huh?
Okay, that's what I thought so.
I do it in the bathroom, but like I'm a girl, so I'll like pull out like my lip gloss and I'll like maybe touch it up in front of you or whatever, or go to the bathroom. But if like you're sitting across from me and all of a sudden you go, yeah, so tell me more. I'm like, nah.
Well, hold on.
Even just a touch though, Ashley. Even just a touch.
Hold on, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean, even if I just one over and just.
I'm so turned off at that point, bruh. It's
wow.
not funny.
I feel like you gotta find a moment where she's not looking.
You gotta, I gotta either
A,
not be looking, or you gotta be in the bathroom, or like I gotta have my back turned to you, but you cannot sit across from me and be like, yeah, so tell me about your day.
That's
like,
too feminine of a gesture.
Twan, where did you figure this out? Because I've been playing the wrong game then.
You whip it out in front of a.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like this.
Hey.
I'm doing it like this too. I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what if you're doing the full circle touch, that's a lot.
Twan, how'd you figure this out? Who told you this?
Nobody told me, man. I just knew women didn't like that. You pull out that chapstick, they ain't gonna like that, man.
So what you do if you would have shorty, you at dinner and your lips chat, what you doing?
I hope she'll tell me. I'm just gonna try to lick him on the low.
Or just like lick your lips or something, but you whip out the chapstick?
You pull out the chapstick? That ain't good, bro.
Bro, I got like 5 of these in my book bag. I keep chapstick with me in my pocket.
But you whip it out like on a date, like just
Quick,
like
yes.
like in the middle of conversation. So like you ask her about what she does for work, and she's answering you, and you're like,
Yeah, 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me
Ew,
get my
Brandon!
Off to the side though, right?
So what are you? Are you gonna whip
Hey
it out?
man, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna take that chapstick, hit the bottom lip one time to the side.
To the side.
Yeah.
Why are you hiding? Why are we hiding?
Well, I get what she's saying. Like, I don't want to be like with my
That's
whole
so
mouth
gross.
open and crazy.
I can't.
So I'm gonna go to the side. I'm gonna just.
I would literally be looking at you like this.
I never knew this.
Or be
Twan,
like-
what else do you know? See, that's that wisdom. Twan, what else do you know that we should know? Anything else?
Like, this is a topic of discussion right there. That's it.
This would be me. Like if this is the date and this is me, I'm just gonna be sitting there like this.
Yo.
It's like you coming off like unprepared.
Woo, what is the
right?
chat?
Right.
Look at, Woo, what is the chat saying? What is the
Ashley
chat
wildin'. That's what they saying
Thank
right
you.
now.
Nah, Twan knew what time it was. I thought you knew
I told you.
too.
I didn't know. So
Yeah, are
what
we
else do
split?
we need
Yeah,
to know
the
as
room
men,
split.
I
Ashley?
can't believe that. Like you.
What else do we
No,
know?
they
Okay,
say,
I'll put
they
you
say
on-
Ash represent the queens
I'll
who's
put you
raised out in
on
Brooklyn.
game real quick. One other thing, and then we can switch gears. And we spoke about this briefly when we had Liv on the show last week. When you are just getting to know a woman, and y'all are communicating
I
and
heard
conversing and whatever, there's 2 things you don't do until that next threshold has been crossed. 1, don't text me out of nowhere and be like, so send me some pictures. That's disgusting. It's gross. No, don't ask for pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know you like that. Go to my Instagram. Don't ask me to cook for you. I don't know you like that.
What's the threshold? Then when can we ask
Also,
for the...
until we reach that next threshold in our relationship, do not randomly FaceTime me, bro. That's a no-no.
Really?
Don't
I agree
randomly
with that.
FaceTime me. You can
Interesting.
text me. Maybe you can call me. I probably won't answer. But do not hit that FaceTime
You said-
until it is that time.
Okay,
You
gotcha.
understand what I'm saying?
Wait, did you say even if you enter that second
No,
threshold,
once you
don't do
enter
it?
that
Oh, okay, gotcha.
that threshold where y'all actually know each other a little bit more, and you can hit that unpredictable FaceTime.
okay,
But
gotcha.
don't hit the unpredictable FaceTime just randomly. Like it
Okay.
has to be a scheduled FaceTime.
I'm
You
not
know
a
what I
big
mean?
FaceTime unpredictable guy.
Like you
I mean,
have
but
to
like I
like,
gotta go
you
stand
have
against
to,
a wall
you
for
have
that,
to
though.
shoot the
And get
text
prepared.
asking if you can FaceTime.
That's
You can't just hit the
crazy.
unpredictable
Really?
FaceTime. We're not at that
Wow,
level
really?
yet. Yeah, we're not there yet.
Oh,
We're not there
wow.
yet.
Twan, you FaceTime all types of times and...
If I'm talking to a chick, she ain't in long distance, I'm FaceTime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you just met her, Twan, are you FaceTiming her the next day?
Oh, no.
See, that's what I mean.
Why?
Like there
No,
has to
not
be
the
some
next day.
legwork
It's
that
fun,
has
it's
been
fun
there.
when you meet somebody that
Yeah.
is with,
Right.
I gotta
about
get
that,
like a
though.
couple
I ain't gonna lie.
gotta
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we
Right.
both are cool
That's
with
the
hopping
key.
on, that's cool.
What Twan said. You got to get a couple conversations in.
That's fair, though.
A little bit familiarity, and then you could hit the unpredictable FaceTime. But don't unpredictable FaceTime me the day after I met you. That is a X.
Man, I'm 5 years
fine.
in. Like, hey, don't FaceTime me
I ain't doing
randomly.
that. Because I make one set up that I don't even want to do FaceTime. If I got 3, 4, 5 chicks and I'm rotating, I may not want to even start
Roster. You got a roster.
No, I'm serious. I may not want to start the FaceTime that whole thing with you. That may not be something. I may already got one chick I'm doing some FaceTime. I may not want to do FaceTime with everybody. Because if I'm out with you, imagine Ash, I'm out with you, Ash, and my phone ringing, and you see the FaceTime. You see it, but fam, you see the FaceTime. You like, damn, he nigga FaceTime. You like, he FaceTiming with a chick, another chick. I don't want to see that. Yeah. It's a different feeling when that FaceTime comes through than a regular call. And
I'm
you know
telling
it.
That's very true. It's very true.
It's a different feeling.
It's very true.
Your BPMs go up.
You want to be here.
It's very
Twan
true.
real
So
strategic
wait, so
right
you have a text girl, a FaceTime girl,
Right.
a Snapchat girl.
Snapchat.
I mean, you got to mix it up. You got to.
Hey, so you gotta mix it
The
up.
Snapchat girl's for the girl you don't really take seriously.
I don't even have Snapchat.
I don't have Snapchat.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the Instagram DM girls, the girl you don't really take seriously.
But that's what they'll do. They'll slide in your DMs and be like, follow me on Snap. Like, what?
No, yeah, nah.
That's because
Right.
I'm not gonna say it, but
I'm like,
The chat is saying FaceTime. JP put out a poll and asked them, like, everyone drop your FaceTime do's and don'ts, and a lot of people put FaceTime, text, or call, and they're leaning towards FaceTime.
Yeah.
Could be a generational thing.
no, you can't FaceTime me if I don't know you like that. Like, it's not even like, and it's not like, oh, she wants to put makeup on. No, I'll answer my FaceTime with no makeup on. Brandon's called me plenty of times on FaceTime. I have no It's not about that. It's just like, I don't know you like that. Like, don't FaceTime me until we reach to that level. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't know you like that, I don't even want to look at your face when I'm talking to you. Like, I'm not even at that place with you yet.
Ashley, can you give us some tips on male grooming? Like, you know, like how men should, like, you know what I mean?
What do you mean? Grooming what?
No, I'm just saying, period. Like, you know, getting pedicures, manicures, what else? Just
I don't really care about a man. I don't like feet.
Some dudes don't even like know how to properly put on like cologne and stuff, right? Like, is there anything that jumps out to you?
I don't really like feet, so like I don't care about pedicures as long as your toenails are cut. Feet freak me out. It's like a thing. I don't know. They're just like hands on your ankles. They're weird.
So you don't like your own feet?
I mean, I'm not like a thing. I don't have like a feet thing. Like, I don't care if like a guy, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. But like, you just cut your nails. You don't have to go to the salon and get pedicures and manicures, but just make sure your cuticles are cut, your nails are cut. There's no dirt under your fingernails.
The dirt.
You want polish or no polish?
No polish. No polish. No. I better not see any type of gleam bouncing off your nails. That's weird.
Right.
Not talking about like the clear polish. You don't like the clear polish?
No, I just nails is cool.
Twan, you a clear polish guy?
Nails is cool.
No, I'm not. I don't do the polish. I just get the little. What's the buff? They just buff it.
Yeah, I buff. I'm a
But
buffer.
I bite my nails off.
Buffing is nice. Buffing is nice.
I just try to do the buff, but I bite my nails off. That's just a bad habit I got.
Twan, you got to work on that bad habit, Twan. You can't be still biting your nails.
I try not to do it, but you know, if I'm bored, I mean, I might just do it. Might be something I might do a little bit. Not bad though.
Hey, I'll say this.
Brush your teeth. Floss your teeth.
The floss is a big
your
one.
teeth. There's nothing worse than seeing a good-looking man and he smiles at you and there's plaque in his teeth.
Yeah.
Like, floss your teeth. Brush your teeth.
A lot of people miss that part.
Brush your hair in the morning, or
What
if
if you don't have
like
hair?
just dust off the lint from the pillow.
Make sure.
Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. You don't have to be walking around here like a supermodel. Just like bare minimum stuff. Wear deodorant. Please wear deodorant. It's like
I have a confession.
You don't wear deodorant?
Because I called Twan out.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll like bite, like if my nail's long, I'll bite it and use it as floss, like to get stuff
so
out
deep.
my. Is that
That's different.
that's bad?
That's different.
You use
Hey, Twan hopped off the call
Yeah.
just now.
Did he? Oh,
you use your
Twan's like, I gotta go.
you use your
All right.
you use your fingernail as a
like a
toothpick?
toothpick?
Yeah.
almost?
What's wrong with that? I had some toothpicks here.
There's a lot of things.
You never seen that?
The ball's offended by what you just said.
Boss said he out of here. Too.
Yeah, no one. You've never seen anybody do that before?
No, man.
Like, you go like this, and then you take it and you go. You never seen that?
Brandon, I am appalled
Really?
by that. Like, first of all, why are your fingernails that long that you can use them as a pick?
Well, I'm saying like I mean, they're long enough. I don't know what long is to you, but they're long enough.
You got like sharpen one end to like a point.
No, you don't sharp. You just put it in there. Like, you never had food in between your teeth, and it's like so annoying and it's bothering you. You gotta get it out, but you don't have access to a toothpick. You don't have access to any floss.
The
like,
chat is so appalled by what you just said.
Oh, Twan, have you ever done that? Twan,
My
tell the
dad
truth.
commented and he said, "You're a savage." Legit. Dude, that is mad gross. B Marsh is a savage. That's verbatim what that says.
All right, hey, you
That's
know what,
NFL
Pops?
energy.
We're gonna get Pops in the studio. Pops gonna have to give us one thing that, you know, he does that nobody know he does that would probably freak everybody out.
Twan,
everybody has that one
Twan,
thing.
have you ever taken your own fingernail off and used it as a toothpick?
No.
He lied. Look at that.
No, I'm trying to think, but no.
He said,
no, I
nah.
haven't done that.
Ashley might be right, though. Everybody has one thing. Remember, mine's the scabs.
Right.
What do you do?
No, you said you did that when you were a kid.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
We're talking about adult. We're talking adult things.
Oh, adult, I don't know.
What did you do when you were a kid?
So you weren't here. I was telling them when I was a child, I would get cuts.
Allegedly.
Like you just fall, allegedly.
Right, I'm like,
I
you
would
might have
fall,
just told him
and then when I would
right?
go change my Band-Aid, I would like smell it. And then put a new Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
But I was a child.
So, all right. So those things don't leave you. It just morphs into something new.
Oh, I can tell you
different.
something gross that I do.
So my question for you, Woo, is what did it morph into? So you smell.
I mean, I probably have a very like I'm not sensitive to smells. I'm not sensitive. I did plumbing for a very long time. I used to tell people all the time, if I smell ish, I smell money. So like I think maybe that's what it is. Is it developed to a strong sense of smell?
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys wash your hands at home?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you have to use the bathroom at home.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself. That's one thing I always gotta do. When I'm at home, I gotta remind myself to wash my hands. If I'm out in public,
That's fair though.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If I'm out in public, it's like a natural thing. But
Well,
I'm
you at home.
I forget to wash my hands a lot.
Wow. Dang, I don't want to be too much of a savage because
I can tell you something gross that I do.
Something to add there.
I you know, like when you eat Cheez-Its or like goldfish.
Yep.
So like,
Right.
and like you get like cheese, like when you're chewing them, like some of the cheese will like get into like your gum or whatever.
Here we go.
I like
Here we go.
when I'm done eating like whatever the bag or like
story.
whatever, I'll take my finger and like swipe my gum and eat it.
I do that.
I mean, yeah, you gotta get out of there. You gotta get out of there. Yeah.
I can't see like if you seen a chick
I
do
actually
that.
look forward to that, but I do it at
She
home.
said I
do it
look
at home.
forward to it.
I do it at home. I look forward to that point of
So
that
actually-
part of the experience.
If you do that while I'm putting on CarMax, are we even?
Nah, I'm not gonna do it in public. I only do it like behind closed doors.
Okay.
Can you imagine Ashley putting her nail in her mouth and doing
I
that?
do. I just like quick swipe it, and there's like a little
Jeez.
chunk of cheese, and like
I think
yeah.
the best part of what you said was I actually look forward to it.
I do look forward to it. It's the best part.
Corey been quiet today. Corey, come on,
See,
Corey.
well, because what I've been trying to do is think of something weird, but like there's nothing at the front of my mind. Not like
He's
that. I
so
mean, well, 'cause
light
I
Oh
can
my
relate-
God,
yeah, for
Corey,
real,
I'm
I can relate-
perfect.
I can relate to what you just said. I do that too, but like I didn't think that was too weird. You know what I'm saying? But
Come on, Corey, you gotta give us something.
I gotta give you something.
Do you ever just go to bed without brushing your teeth or something?
No,
Just
no,
accidental
no.
stuff?
Everyone's accidentally going
If
to bed
it's-
without brushing their
That's
teeth.
what I'm trying to give him a layup.
I'm actually extremely weird about that. Like, well, one thing is I won't touch my bed unless I've showered. I don't care if it's actually like
He's
5
never
in
been
the
drunk
morning.
enough.
And, no, not for real. I don't
I'm
care
like
if it's
that,
5
too.
in the morning. Like, and brushing my
You must
teeth.
don't
Those
drink.
two things. So.
Yeah, right? You've never had a night where it's been like, oh, screw
Yeah,
it.
I had too many nights like that. I'm really trying to think of something crazy.
Because
though.
if
I
you've
really
had a
can't think
real
of something.
lit night, everybody's woken up and they're like, what? I've woken up
I mean, yeah, in
sometimes
college,
after
yeah.
going out with my homegirls and we've had one hell of a night. I've woken up thinking like God performed a miracle on me because my contacts are still in and I can see clearly when I wake up. Not knowing my contacts are still in my eye. I've had makeup on the pillows. Like it's,
Right.
when you go out and you do it right, sometimes it is what it is.
Damn, I really got nothing for y'all though.
That's crazy, Corey. You're
yeah,
so
Corey,
lame.
Right?
Can we get a single shot on Corey again?
So
Put this
lame.
light skinness. Can we get this light skinness?
Like, come on, dog. You know you got something.
I got
you got
nothing
something.
though.
For me.
I'm thinking hard too.
He is his is so bad.
No,
His is so bad that he can't
I really
say
wish
it.
I had one. I really wish I had one. 'Cause
Got the
You
white?
got one.
I feel like y'all gotten on me about something when I've been here though. Like I'd rather explain
Corey, it's
myself
okay.
if
Corey,
y'all
it's
got
okay.
something.
No, listen. Yours is so bad that you just like there's no
I got
way I
one.
can tell.
As a man used to wear earrings, you probably forget to clean your air back.
No, I
that
do.
right
I
there
do.
could
I be
get
scrubbing.
funky.
I be scrubbing this. I don't think I clean my earrings maybe enough. The earrings is
Boo! Tomato,
yeah.
tomato. Boring.
we reaching now at this point.
Lame. Corey, you got to come up with something, Corey.
Twan, any craziness, anything nasty you've seen in the locker room that you can share? I'll start. Not in the locker room, but I had teammates that would piss on themselves or even do number 2 because they didn't want. Like Channing Crowder, he talked about it. He used to be on the show. He talked about it publicly. You know, he's like, look, I'm in a game. He's not going to the bathroom. He sit there. He pisses on himself every game. And there was times where he pooped on himself. Seriously.
I'm sorry.
All right, well, that's a confession. I peed on myself in a football game before.
You have?
Yeah.
I might have too.
So
That's like normal though. I feel like that's
crazy,
kind of
though.
normal a little bit.
I'm sorry.
the average person might
So
not think that.
I'm just envisioning how football players dress
Yeah.
in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm envisioning a huge wet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's comfortable for you to
Well,
play?
we're already
Absolutely not
sweaty.
comfortable,
We're already
but yeah,
sweaty.
you already
But you
sweating.
smell like pee.
I mean,
Hey.
you smell like a lot of things with that. You ever smelled them pants? You ever smelled?
See, basketball players don't do that. They'll call a timeout. I gotta go pee.
Right.
Nah, yeah.
They're
ain't no
civilized
doing
human
that.
beings.
Or
Unless you're
mad
Paul
far-
Pierce.
You
You
mad,
just
depending on the
Take a-
stadium, you mad far from the locker room too. So you gonna have to run through all the crowd, all the people on the sideline.
Get the-
You gotta
get
run
the
through
Paul Pierce
tunnel, like, you're
wheelchair.
not trying to do all that.
Now what they do,
or
Twan,
just pee on the sideline.
Yeah, well, now what they do is
Yeah,
they put
I
the
was the way
curtains
too,
up,
yeah.
and then they got these that we used to just pee on the grass, but they'll like have towels around us.
Right.
Now they'll still have the towels. You know what I'm saying? You'll go right by the water cooler, which is even grosser, where the Gatorade is.
That's disgusting.
And then they have these little bags that you pee in. That's what they do
TJ
now.
Strickland said, I used to pee in the pool.
That's
We
okay.
all did that.
I can't.
I think
remember.
everybody's done that.
I never peed
Oh,
in
you
the pool.
said no, Corey?
Nah.
Man.
I mean, nah, for real. As
Corey, shut the hell up.
as I
You
grew older,
too
I'm like,
clean,
nah,
bro.
for real, bro. Like, y'all really was peeing in the pool? That's actually crazy.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Can we get-
Corey.
I wish they got all of y'all with that little, like that substance that be in the pools that show.
That expose your
shows up
urine?
like
What
orange
is
or
wrong
something
with
like
Wait,
that.
so when y'all are sweating, I'm going to dial back for a second. When y'all are sweating in your tights, that's what they're called, right? Tights?
Yeah.
It's sweat and pee?
Well, I mean, if you pee on yourself.
But it's sweat. It can be sweat and pee. Like when I see sweat,
You probably gonna
No,
you gonna be able
I
to
think,
see
I
that.
think there's only a
No.
couple guys that will do that.
Yeah, it's
right?
not a norm.
It's
It's
not
not a norm.
but it's common where
It's
you know what I'm saying.
happening
Like if a guy pee on himself, it won't be like, oh, some dudes will make a face or say something, but it's like, oh, we've heard this story before. We've
Right.
seen this before. I played with a guy that did this before. Listen, guys, we're at time here.
Corey's a liar.
So I be telling
He's
you,
like
bro.
Christian Bale in American Psycho. Like there's something.
Was I not quick to admit that?
There's
That's
some,
crazy.
Corey,
Like,
you
to be
peeing on
themselves in
yourself
public?
once in a football game
Right.
does not go ahead and
And it
equal
came off the strength
what
of
we're
him
talking
saying
about.
it.
Right.
You
We
ever
need
see
a Corey story.
You ever see
Oh,
American
God.
Psycho with
Yes.
Christian Bale? That's the American Psycho because nobody is that clean cut and like I don't do anything gross. I'm perfect. I'm Corey. You go into his freaking house and he's probably got like a drawer full of like weird knives or something like that. Like he's off his rocker
absolutely
somewhere.
not. Right.
Somewhere he's off.
Twan, to end the
Absolutely
show,
not.
do you have any stories that you want to share in the locker room, or you just want to end the show? What do you want to do here?
No, I had nothing. We ain't do nothing weird.
I can read some.
Know what we used to do? Know what? So when I played with the Heat,
Uh-oh.
we had body fat. And weight check every Monday. So Shaq used to put baby oil on because you know the thing that grip you.
Oh yeah.
So the thing that used to take the body fat check with, Shaq would do it so it wouldn't stick. So he used to put baby oil
That's
on
hilarious.
over his whole
man.
body. No,
So
it
you can
was
never get a good
hilarious. He used to
reading.
do it every Monday. Put the baby oil on every Monday. So the strength coach couldn't take his body fat and weight. So it used to be hilarious. You had to see it to believe.
But didn't he do it naked too? Pause. But
Yes, naked too. Yeah.
That's what made it really crazy.
Yeah, Shaq one of those guys. He walk around naked. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
We have some funny ones in the chat that I'll read quickly. Good Time said, remember in school when you had to climb the rope and touch the top of the ceiling? Yeah, I farted all the way down. Somebody said, Pig 76 said, I made a diving tackle and farted while tackling Dommy's son on a kickoff. Everyone was celebrating the hit in a crop dust.
That's crazy.
Somebody said, let's see what somebody said, Mr. Roddy Poo said, I used to go commando in my girdle for football.
Oh, me too. I never wore nothing underneath my football pants.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that did that.
Yeah, that was just normal.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any other ones.
Gotta be light, Troy. Hey, them big boys pause. Them big boys trying to hit you. You gotta be able to move. I ain't want no extra weight.
Hey, yo, no, I got to shout out this one. Marcus Curry said Corey probably hates when his food touches. That is actually correct. That is actually correct. I do not like my food to touch.
No, he's definitely
What's
American
the theme to American Psycho,
He's
yo?
definitely American Psycho. He gets more
That's
Christian
mad
Bale
accurate. That's
than
funny
he's
that he
like.
said
That's
that.
mad accurate.
So like you need your food spaced out.
Not spaced out, but like my greens, like it got to be actually in a bowl. Like, cause I don't want the juice from the greens seeping
Are
in
you
there.
crazy?
I'm dead ass.
It's the best when they mix. That's when you get all the flavor. So what do you do when you go to a restaurant?
Well, one, I don't really trust greens from most restaurants, so I'm not really getting something like that. But yeah, restaurants, if it's like a mashed potatoes and a steak, I mean, we cool with the mashed potatoes touching the steak, but
This dude is so funny.
Yo,
Ashley
Corey.
Nicole Moss, Antoine
see
Walker,
somebody, Corey. See
Corey
somebody.
in the cut, Brandon Marshall here, Faction Talk Sirius XM. Thank you for being a great partner. Listen to us there, all audio platforms, and also come check us out on YouTube Monday through Thursday, 12 to 2. Do the thing, Ashley.
Ciao. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.